Hello everybody, we are going live today with Michali to answer a question that's been posted on the forum. So we're just going to wait for Michali to pop up and I'm just going to pull up the question. Hey Michali, let me add you. Request. Accept.
Hi.
Michali, how are you? Let me just...
Good. Look at us matching today.
Oh, we are? I see
We did
it.
not
Yeah,
coordinate this
we
for
didn't
whoever's
coordinate.
watching.
Oh gosh, that is cool. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I wear the same thing every day. Sometimes I have to make sure I didn't wear this just
I
yesterday.
know. It's
That
same
I
here.
put myself on social media every day. Um,
We're all judging you, Faye, and what you
totally.
wear.
Totally. Someone actually commented, someone wrote to I forgot where, I think it was on the status, where do you shop? I love your clothing. I'm like, seriously? That's one of the things that I'm not exactly
This is not
a
a fashion page.
yeah, exactly. All my tops, every single top I wear is a different color top from Lululemon for everybody that wants to know.
Thank
Yes.
you for sharing that, Faye.
Yeah, so that is 100% cotton. They're comfortable. And
Oh, yeah.
that's the way I roll for now, at least.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great way to roll. And it's kind of a little bit fitting the topic for today. I'm super excited about the question. There's so
Yes,
much to
I was
talk
very
about.
excited to discuss it with you because I feel like this is so in your lane, and I feel like it's something that
Yeah.
everybody could benefit from. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it. Thank you everyone for joining. Okay, self-esteem, body issues, newbie. The Lost Princess writes, I don't like the way I look. I feel ugly. I feel fat. I feel as if I look old, unattractive, and wrinkly, and I'm in a lot of pain. Could you use some guidance on how to get rid of all this? I'm gonna give the floor to you. Is that what it's called? Or give the mic to you or something like that?
You know what? I think they both work. Are you sure
Go
you
for
want me to go first, Faye? I have a lot to say on
I want to hear
it.
everything. I might even take notes. Go for it.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, first of all, this is a topic, as you know, Faye, that's very near and dear to my heart. I've personally struggled with body stuff since I was a teen, a preteen. Got all kinds of really unhelpful messages about that. Now, I think that just so this person knows, this is a societal issue. So they're not alone with this issue, and it's systemic, meaning that there are things in our environment that are actively trying to make us feel self-conscious and negative about ourselves and our bodies. So I think that there are a few different books and different movements that I would highly encourage this person to join and to look into. One is called More Than a Body. It's written by twin sisters, identical twin sisters, who happen to also be brilliant and have PhDs. And their tagline is, your body is your body is an instrument, not an ornament. So,
Oh, wow.
so it's really powerful. It's backed up with research. Another really important book is called Health at Every Size, that whole movement,
I've heard
intuitive
of it.
eating, right? I know we've talked about it a lot when it comes to shidduchim with
Lisa.
Lisa, yeah.
Yes.
So I think that, so first of all, just to kind of understand that this struggle is a pretty universal struggle for many people. The next step I would say is to really start to separate your body from your identity. You do not equal your body. You are your body's master. You partner with your body, and the purpose of your body is to enable you to do stuff on this planet, right? So your eyes are meant to help you see things. Your feet are meant to take you places. Your hands are meant to build things or put things together or get things, right? Your mouth is meant to nourish yourself and to communicate, right? The different parts of our body have different functions, and that's why we have them, right? The aesthetic piece is a totally separate piece. It would be much more logical, I guess, to base your sense of self on what you do rather than what you look like aesthetically. Now, I would add to that you want to also base your worth on other things. I
Yeah,
think
I
people
was
are
also
inherently
like, I don't want to
worthy.
get down that
Yes,
like rabbit hole of like,
yes.
what do I do?
Um,
Am I enough to exist? This is what I
exactly.
do, because that's dangerous.
Exactly. So we all have inherent worth because we are living beings.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that if a person is like trying to understand like what the difference between like themselves and their bodies,
Mm-hmm.
it's more like, it goes beyond just the aesthetics of the body.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually say like, try to first, if you look down at your body or you're looking at a mirror at your body and you're just like, ugh, right? Look at those parts that you think are and say to yourself, well, what does that part of me actually give me? Like, what does it do for me? So let's say for a lot of women, it's their stomachs or their hips or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think like, well, my stomach digests food for me and I love eating. So this enables me to do the thing that I love to do. It also gives me energy. My hips enable me to walk properly.
Mm-hmm.
And they allow me to be, to help me feel feminine, or they aid with, I mean, I don't think this is actually true, but like, it's like aiding with like childbirth or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like there's,
I've
you
heard
can
that before
appreciate.
also, and I'm like, is that a thing?
It's not, no, it's not necessarily true.
Okay.
But like, the whole point is that you like appreciate the parts of your body rather than say, oh, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm. I think there's
The
like
other,
movements, just to interrupt for a second,
yeah,
that like people have to like love their body or love every part of their body versus like appreciating it. So like you don't have to love it,
yeah.
you don't have to appreciate, you don't have to do anything. But I think that there's so much value in exactly what you just said, which is that we don't have to love it. We can appreciate it, and that can be enough.
Yes, exactly. And I think that the more messages you give to yourself that you do not equal your aesthetics, your value does not equal your aesthetics, the more believable it is. And you're not going to necessarily feel that right away, but like Dafka, like at least one day a week, I do not wear makeup. I
Mm-hmm.
love makeup. I'm a super girly in that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I one day a week do not wear it to remind myself that there's beauty in a human face
Mm-hmm.
without makeup. There's
Love it.
there's beauty in the simplicity, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that part of it is also sensitizing ourselves to different standards of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
right? We all have this like idea or image of what we consider beautiful, usually from Hollywood or
Mm-hmm.
magazines or billboards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think,
Or social
exposing
media, like
our
Instagram.
social media, yeah. So exposing ourselves to other things, other people, or
Mm-hmm.
other standards of beauty that we actually do find beautiful, I think is really, really important. I say this to women who struggle with like, being overweight and wanting to lose weight but can't. I say like, go find plus size models that you find really beautiful and expose yourself to that. And when
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at that and you're naturally feeling like, oh wow, they're so beautiful, then tell yourself, look at me. I'm finding beauty in something that's not considered society's ideal standard of beauty,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think that that's another thing is like inputting other messages into our minds that
Mm-hmm.
include other ideas of what beauty is, having that
Mm-hmm.
appreciation, and then also limiting our exposure to things that really are unhelpful or to people that value aesthetics beyond the value of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of like a little bit of my
I
two
love
cents.
it.
And by the way, I Dafka did not put makeup on because I knew the topic of this conversation. I was like, you
Really?
know what? I'm not putting makeup on because I just want this to be chilled. And like, it's always like, like when you see on social media, people who are like absolutely beautiful and they're just like struggling to love themselves. And
Yeah.
for some people, it bothers them. It's like irritating. It's like, how can you be complaining how
Mm-hmm.
beautiful you look? So like, I Dafka wanted to look like a plain, regular human being
And you're so
talking about
beautiful.
this to show, thank you. But like just to show that you can be comfortable in your own natural skin,
Totally.
and that you don't there's nothing that you have to reach. Whatever you have, that's what is.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
we
funny. Yeah.
accept what we have,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Someone wrote a comment here. It's so funny. I was late to this call because I was just finishing up another call, and I usually put on like a filter for the lives. Like it just makes me like feel like I'm doing something that like I don't think there's anything wrong with filters, but today I didn't. I was too
Nothing.
late, and I was like, I do put on a filter. And as you're
Look
talking,
at us.
before you even said about the makeup, I was thinking to myself like how like Freudian that like I didn't put on a filter.
That is
Like
a true Freudian slip.
totally, totally.
Yeah. And by the way, when I used this was my own thing for myself, but when I was dating,
Hmm.
including my husband, I Dafka also once a week, even if I had a date, I did not put makeup on. I'm like, this
Wow,
guy needs to see what I look like without makeup,
wow.
and he needs to be comfortable with that because if he's not, then he's not the right person for me, you know.
I love
And someone's just writing, like, when stores don't carry my size, reminding myself there's a problem with the store, not something wrong with me.
hmm
Yes, I love that. I think that it's an issue with society. It's
hmm
not even the store's fault. It's a societal issue that we cannot accommodate people and
hmm
their beautiful various sizes. You
hmm
know, I think that's why I love Health at Every Size because it totally blows up that myth that if a
Yeah.
person is considered fat, then
hmm
they're not healthy. But you can be fat and you can be beautiful and you can be healthy all at the same time, you
Exactly.
know? So, yeah,
And also, like,
love
we're
that comment.
assuming that this woman, or this, I'm assuming it's a woman that asked this question, like, there is like something societally wrong with her body, or maybe she's older and struggling with the aging process. But that not necessarily is the case, right? Like, because then there's like the whole concept of body dysmorphic issues, and like she can just be seeing herself in a negative light. And like, I want to point on that for a second too, that like you can, people struggle with this, then they're truly beautiful, and it's really hard to deal with that as well, or they're just
Hmm.
beautiful as it is, and like, being able to identify that the feeling is not necessarily matching reality, and the thoughts don't necessarily match reality. Like,
Yeah,
we're going with the fact that like, okay, maybe this woman is extremely overweight, or is, has wrinkles, or whatever it is, and like those, there's something to pin it on, like, oh, this is a struggle for her, versus maybe it's all exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? And that's
yeah.
the same true struggle, but at the end of the day, like, I think that's like part of the CBT model of like, not everything you think is true, not everything you feel is, backed up by facts or by, a healthy thought process.
I completely agree. I think there's like global body dysmorphia in
Hmm.
today's day and age.
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can agree with
and I mean, I also think that the noisier that thought is for that person and
you.
for all of us, like if our main focus or our main thoughts and voices in our head are about our aesthetics and
Hmm.
they're negative,
Hmm.
then that's going to take up the majority of our energy and how we feel towards ourselves.
Hmm.
I would say enhancing our relationship with ourselves, loving ourselves, having compassion
Hmm.
for ourselves, appreciating ourselves will limit the noise in our head that says that we have to pay attention and value aesthetics beyond
Hmm.
our own value. Um,
Exactly.
so, so that means that when we look at our bodies, to
Hmm.
limit the criticism, right? We
Hmm.
don't want to self abuse, so we need to eradicate that from our vocabulary.
Hmm.
And instead of saying, oh, this is disgusting, or oh, I look so old, or oh, I can't even look at that part of me, right? Like really abusive things that I've heard many people say to
Hmm.
themselves, to say, okay, that's not my favorite body part. It's not the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, but you know what? I love it because it belongs
Hmm.
to me. I love it because it enables me to dance. I love it because it enables me to do
Hmm.
whatever
Or
I
I
value.
appreciate it, even if
Yeah,
you can't say I love it,
exactly.
honestly.
Exactly. We can love ourselves, but we don't have to like every part of our bodies.
Love that.
And we can appreciate it. And
Exactly.
then from there, focusing on other things that enhance our sense of value and self-worth that that have nothing to do with looks,
Mm-hmm.
I think is also the way to go.
Okay.
Like my aesthetics is one part of me.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many other parts of me. If I'm going to spend the majority of my day on my aesthetics, then that's what I'm going to feel. But if
Mm-hmm.
I spend the majority of my day on other things, then I feel good. I feel alive, empowered, whatever adjective you want to use. So
Exactly.
yeah,
I love that.
that's my
Have you
spiel.
ever heard, I love it. Have you ever heard that what we hear faster than we see? Like, I once heard this, and I think it's brilliant. Like, what we hear, if you take sound and sight, people will think, oh, I see first. But it's not true. We hear first. Like
Interesting.
sound travels faster than sight from our five senses. So when we talk negatively to ourselves, we're hearing that negativity before we actually look in the mirror. Like when we look in the mirror, what we were saying to ourselves, we believed that
Hmm.
before we actually could process what we saw. So I
That's
feel like,
so
yeah, I
interesting. I
once
did
heard
not
from
know
a
that.
reliable source. So like if you try it on yourself, it will work. Like if you have a body part that bothers you, if you
Yeah.
first tell yourself something positive about the body part or something neutral, or focus on a body part that you love when you look in the mirror, you will feel completely different when you look in the mirror.
Wow. I love that. That's such an excellent
Yeah,
strategy.
I
I
feel like
love that.
like a hack. You know how everyone like has these hacks, but it really is.
Yeah.
Like if let's say you have a part of your like let's say your nose bothers you, so you look in the mirror. So either you could say like my nose is beautiful. If you could believe that and be like my nose is really cute and beautiful, like then when you look in the mirror, you will all of a sudden you might actually see beauty and cuteness in your nose. Or if
Mm.
your nose is something that you can never come to like appreciating at this moment, then you're like, I love my eyebrows. Like my eyebrows are stunning. And then you look in the mirror and you're like, you see your
Got it.
eyebrows. I'm like that just like lights up your face. You know what I'm saying? So I
I
feel like that
love that. That's
hack.
so true. And we usually, while we're getting dressed, before we look in the mirror, we're usually like, puttering around and
Mhm,
trying to like get dressed and get ready for the
mhm,
day. That's usually when the thoughts start of what am I going to wear? Ugh, I'm bloated or,
mhm.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's so true. I love that.
Yes. So
I'm going to just add something to confuse everybody.
yes.
On the flip side of it, I do think that it's not a bad thing if we value aesthetics. Like for
Mm,
those of you who are watching who are like, oh my gosh, but I really do care about how I look. Is
mhm,
my am I vain? Is there something wrong with me?
mhm,
No. That is totally okay and it's very human and normal. I value aesthetics too. I like looking and feeling pretty.
mhm,
But I think that if that extends to how I value myself, that's when it becomes an issue. So I say like, even if we don't have the body that we consider to be ideal,
mhm,
um, it's, to think of like, okay, well, what can I do to feel beautiful, right?
mhm,
Whether it's getting clothing that feels comfortable and we consider to look beautiful,
mhm,
whether it's taking care of our hygiene, and the whole point is to basically respect our bodies.
mhm,
It's not about getting respect from other people. It's about showing respect for ourselves and our own bodies. And
mhm.
we do that by taking care of our bodies and nurturing them. And that can include beautifying them. So I'm not anti aesthetics and beauty.
Exactly.
I just think that, it needs to be in balance.
Exactly.
That's basically
Not when
the
it
point.
becomes like maladaptive or self-destructive. And I love like what you said, like it's really healthy, and I do it too, like to just have like to purposely like de-beautify yourself to be able to be okay
Hmm.
with that, and to like
Yeah. So just be
let
like, this
others
is
be okay with
me.
that, great too, but like even just for yourself to
Yeah,
oh I look pretty good even without makeup, and I can be okay with that, or even though I'm bloated I can still be okay with that feeling and whatever I'm wearing in this moment, and like
for
that's okay,
sure. And
so
to find beauty in that, like to expand our definition
mhm.
of what beauty is.
Love it. Okay, we really like I feel like we really went all in on this one. I really appreciate it, Michali.
Oh, yeah. We can
Thank you.
spend hours talking about
Oh,
this, but
like,
thank you, Faye.
thank you so much. Thanks for being so like open and having so much to share. Thank you everyone for tuning in and for engaging also. Like we got some nice comments. And yeah, like I think it was a really brave question and something we never addressed, and it's something that's so pervasive and really important to address. So I'm happy we did.
100%. I couldn't agree more. All
All
right.
right.
Well, I'll see you next week on
Yes.
Monday.
God willing. Yes. Take care.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Everybody. Bye
You
bye.
too.